Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 23rd, 2024. Fire potential impacts for the next few days are shown here. The main impacts are going to be wind and thunderstorm activity. So for today we have some breezy winds along the Sierra Front and into southwest Idaho. Across eastern Idaho and western Wyoming have stronger winds up to 40 miles an hour, but the RHs are just a little bit higher. It has been quite warm up there, so we're highlighting those winds. And then we also have an increase in moisture moving up into mainly southern southwest Utah and far southern Nevada for an increase in mixed wet dry thunderstorms today. Tomorrow the winds continue, the thunderstorms continue, although maybe a little bit smaller coverage on Monday for the thunderstorms. And then on Tuesday, we have some winds continuing right along the Sierra Front, but we also have some moisture being drawn up further northwest into eastern Nevada, and then also along just east of the Sierra Front here. So these areas have not seen moisture or lightning for quite some time, so this definitely could be a significant issue when we have these drier storms on dry fuels, even though they will be fairly isolated. Okay, past 24 hours here, precip on the left, a little bit of precip over eastern Utah and kind of skirting the Arizona Strip yesterday, and then some lightning associated with those storms as well. Yesterday's fire activity is shown here. We had 10 new fires for 213 acres. Looking at precip for the past 7 days on the left, we can see a little bit of that precip showing up from a couple days ago in central and eastern Utah. It doesn't include the precip from yesterday, but the big story continues to be the dryness over especially Nevada, western Utah, and up into portions of southern Idaho. ERCs continue to increase across many areas of the Great Basin, the north, the west, but we do continue to see decreasing values over central and eastern Utah, where we've seen some precipitation recently and higher relative humidities. Closer look at a few of these areas. South central Idaho here, showing the blue is where we are currently or where we were yesterday, and the green is the forecast. We can see ERCs are expected to continue to rise, although still remaining just below average for the time of year. Further south on the Fish Lake Henry Mountains, we can see ERCs have made a pretty dramatic decrease in the last couple of days with the moisture there, and now we're sitting below normal for the time of year. This morning's satellite imagery is shown here. There's a high pressure ridge to the south and east that's allowing some moisture to move up into the southern Great Basin today, and then we have this trough off the southern Canadian coast here that is going to be bringing some wind today and later in the week especially. Okay, so for today, by this afternoon, we can see, again, the high pressure ridge located to the south and east, allowing some moisture up into the very southern Great Basin, mostly southern and southwest Utah, and a little bit into far southern Nevada. Some tightening gradients up here with as that low kind of begins to enter the coast here will cause wind speeds to pick up, and we do have high risk for those increased winds over western Nevada and up into southwest Idaho. Closer look at where we're expecting the precipitation today, or the storminess anyway. The best chances are going to be over the higher elevations of southern Utah, but the Arizona Strip and far southern Nevada should also see some isolated storms, and then maybe some more isolated type storms further north into northeast Utah. And the wind gusts are shown here on the right. Not super strong winds expected today, but because it's been so dry and so warm, we're highlighting those winds. Gusts up to 25 miles an hour or so in Nevada, a little bit higher in Idaho, and especially the upper Snake River Plain, gusts up to 35-40 miles an hour possible. On Monday, more of the same expected. High pressure still located to the south, a little bit of moisture remaining in Utah, probably a little bit less thunderstorm coverage. Some winds still remaining along the Sierra Front, but they die down a bit in Idaho. Minimum relative humidities are still quite low, especially over Nevada, Idaho, and western Utah. And then the probability of precip shown here on the right, just showing another day of some afternoon thunderstorms, mainly over the higher elevations of Utah. Tuesday, things start to change. The low that's been sitting off the coast really strengthens, deepens, and starts to move inland. So that's going to actually draw some moisture up further into the Great Basin. Ahead of that low, we can see this little blurb of green here on the map indicating a chance for some thunderstorms in central Nevada, western and central Nevada. and further into western Utah, which those areas have been quite dry for quite some time, and the fuels are ready to burn. So even though these storms may be isolated, they could definitely be problematic for new initial attack. So a closer look here at where those storms might be developing on Tuesday, here just west of the Sierra Front in central Nevada, and then across portions of Utah as well. So we'll be keeping a close eye on where those thunderstorms are expected to develop. And high temperatures on Tuesday are going to be quite warm, still nearing the triple-digit mark in most of our valleys. 3-day precip totals are shown here. This is going to be, it's Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Mostly today across the south central mountains here, and then continuing somewhat on Monday, and then Tuesday is when we'll see those storms over Nevada. On Wednesday, we'll see moisture continue to be drawn up into the Great Basin, so expect more storms on Wednesday over Utah and eastern Nevada. And this low continuing to make its way inland will increase wind speeds pretty significantly, actually quite windy on Wednesday across western Nevada and southwest Idaho. On Thursday, that low continues to move eastward, which will increase wind speeds over northwest Nevada, northeast Nevada, and into northwest Utah. Idaho should also be pretty breezy at this time, but we don't have any high risk right now as the fuels are still kind of transitioning up there. And some cooler air may be coming in with that low as well. Some isolated storms will continue on Thursday over mainly Utah as that storm moves through. And then on Friday, that low tracks off to the east pretty quickly with drying moving in behind it across the Great Basin, continued warm temperatures across the area. And then generally more of the same on Saturday, warming and drying conditions, another trough looking like it's developing over the Pacific Northwest. The 7-day precip totals are shown here. We do see more precipitation in the extended forecast in Utah, looking towards that Wednesday, Thursday time period, where we'll see a little bit more moisture being drawn up as the low comes in. And the extended forecast for June 30th to July 6th puts a lot of heat in place over the Great Basin and below normal chances for precip over Idaho and northwest Nevada, with above normal chances of precip over much of Utah as we start to continue to see the impacts of the monsoon knocking on our door. That concludes today's briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.